Welcome to the Mike Litton Experience Podcast. Mike has over 31 years experience in real estate, finance, and investing. He's passionate about being a father, a teacher, a realtor, an investor, and a leader. Everyone has a story, and our passion is to help them tell it. And now, introducing the host of the Mike Litton Experience, Mike Litton.
So what can you expect from the Mike Litton Experience? You can expect stories that will inspire, motivate, advice that will sharpen your focus, and expert information on real estate, finance, and market conditions. Marie Waite, thank you so much for being our guest on the Mike Litton Experience. I'm super excited about our time together. And like we talked about before we hit record, everybody has a story, and our passion is to help them tell it. So with your permission, we'll start with where you were born, go all the way up to today. And then we want to talk about your speaking, your teaching, your coaching, your mentoring, your books. We want to talk about everything that you'd like to talk about that you're working on today and for tomorrow, okay?
Sounds good. Well, first of all, thank you for inviting me here. It's an honor to have this show with you.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for our time together. So where were you born?
So I'm originally from the Philippines,
Okay.
and grew up there. My family is a little bit known not a little bit known. They're known in the karate industry because my grandfather was the founder of karate in the Philippines.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
And my uncle and my dad became very famous in the 70s because they made over 100 karate movies.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, so my uncle was known as the king of karate, and my dad was known as the king of judo. And then
Ooh.
my mother is the first female black belter in the Philippines.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
So growing
family.
up was like a lot of people around me.
Yeah, no kidding. So let me ask you a question. So growing up in the Philippines, what was your favorite thing about growing up there?
I think it's the people, the gathering, the just the conversations. It's on a daily basis. You will people stop by in your house, and it's an open door. And anytime, there's no scheduled appointment. They just come in and say hi to everybody. And we always have people in our house.
Yeah.
And especially on holidays, you're talking about massive food. And I have a lot of relatives that are chefs in 5-star hotels.
Wow.
So you'll see all this people in our kitchen making all this exotic food like crazy. And so I am spoiled when it comes to gatherings and food. So in my events, I always want to make sure I have food because I'm so used to that.
I'm getting hungry just thinking about this. This is amazing.
Yeah.
And I love Filipino food. I just love it. There isn't anything that they make that I don't dearly love. So yeah,
Well,
okay.
they're high in calories, but
Yeah.
it's something you
Hey, it's
just
the
have to
holidays.
eat a little bit.
You don't
Yes,
count calories during the
exactly.
holidays, right? Everything's a diet. Everything's diet when you're right. Yeah, everything's low calorie, everything, right?
Well, the interesting part when it comes to holidays, you're not only eating in your house, you're gonna go to different houses.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, you have to visit them and eat their food too.
Sure you do. That's
So
very important.
that's what I remember.
I just love that requirement. You know,
Yes.
that works for me. Not that I, operate by my stomach or anything, right? So growing up, who was the most influential person to you?
I would say my dad. My father was really good in being a community leader.
Yeah.
Not only he was a leader, he was very well respected in the police force. He has a very high rank in the Philippine Ports Authority. He also managed to protect an entire community from bad people.
Wow.
And there was death threats. And he didn't really care about that. He made sure that they were taken care of. And this is a community that's poor,
Yeah.
and they're surrounded with a lot of gangsters and again, bad people in there. So he made sure that they were protected. So that's why they called him king of Tondo. It's
Ooh.
the town of Tondo is what we're talking. And there was even a movie about it. So,
Ooh.
and I remember the stories he was telling us. And every time he comes home, he would eat dinner and I would sit right next to him and he will tell me stories
Oh,
of what he did at work. And it's just, I love those conversations with him. And I think because of that, he's really truly one of my foundations in my what I do in my life.
yeah.
Not only that, he also made sure that I graduated high school. Because when I was in it was a private school for
Mm.
nuns, a Catholic school. And I don't know what happened in our generation. We did a strike against the nuns, and I was one of them.
Wow.
We protested. There was something about it that we were so passionate about that I was part of it. And so because of that, the school didn't want me to graduate.
Mm.
But my dad went in there and talked to the dean of the school, and I graduated after that meeting.
Wow.
I don't know what he said, what he did, or whatever. It came out to be, I saw them came out of the office and they handshake, and then that was it. And I graduated. And not only that, he got me my first job. And I'll tell you what he did. He actually talked to the owner of this manufacturing company because it's really difficult to get a job in the Philippines. You have to know people in order to get through. And almost everybody has a master's degree or a college degree. So you have to fight your way in.
Yeah.
But my dad was very determined to help me. And what he did, he talked to the the owner of the manufacturing company. And not only he talked to him, he stalked him every morning. He was there standing outside and making sure that he talks to him and everything. So I got my job. I mean, he was persistent.
Yeah.
He never stopped and he never quits. And whatever he wants, he gets. So I think that's where I learned a lot of the things that I do in my life is that I don't quit on anything. If I want something, even if it takes years, I will still make it happen because it's something that I need to complete.
Yeah. And you learned it from him.
Yes. And he is a very powerful man. He does have his temper and he loves his drinks. He loves the social and he has tons of loyal friends.
Mm-hmm.
One thing because he was so always out and taking care of the community that he neglected my brothers.
Mm.
And that's the only thing that I didn't see happen in our family because he was so needed in the community and his work, and that the coaching or mentoring my brothers
Yeah.
were very limited.
Mm.
But I got a lot of it too from him because I sat down right next to him and I listened to whatever he's sharing with me. And I'm the only girl in the family and the oldest, and I became like the favorite, right?
Yeah.
But but that's what it is. Nobody's perfect.
Yeah.
But you choose your direction or whatever you do in life, and there's good things and bad things about it.
That's true.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. So in high school, did you have a favorite subject?
Math. I'm good. Even when I was in grade school, math was my number one. And I got sick one time and they were getting ready to teach the algebra. I got sick. I was so mad at myself for being sick because I wanted to learn that algebra, and I never, up to now, I'm still struggle with it.
Yeah.
But I was really good in school when it comes, even in college, calculus, statistics, and my professors were like kind of putting a pressure on me because I was so good at it, and said, don't, make sure you keep this because it was a good grade. But then when they put pressure on me, and at that time I have some problems with my stomach that I get very acidic and I get sick. So when pressure comes in, that's when I started feeling a little bit, sick. But that went away.
Yeah.
But that's what I experienced.
That's cool. So you graduate from high school,
Yes.
and where do you go from there?
So I graduated high school from another Catholic exclusive girls, and then I went to another Catholic school, which is exclusive for girls,
Mm-hmm.
and that is with St. Paul College of Manila.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what did you have a major?
Yes, it's a business administration. And what I did after college, actually, I went back to school for computer programming. The reason why I did that is because the computer programming was introduced when I was already in second year college.
Yeah.
And my mom was working and, helping me with my tuition. And I'm not about to add more years for her to be, to be in charge of. So I decided I'm just going to finish the business administration. And after that, I'm just going to go on my own and finish the computer programming. And I went back to school for that. And I really love computer programming because I have a relative who is my auntie, and she's like one of the top 10 mathematicians in the Philippines. And
Oh,
she
wow.
was tutoring me. And so I enjoyed working with her, and I love her to death. She's like one of my best friends. So because of that mentorship and, her skills of being one of the top 10, I aspire to be really good at what I do with computer programming. So I went back, and I want her to be proud of me too. So,
Sure.
so I did that. And I actually won a competition for doing the programming, a gold medal for, it's a competition on creating a computer programming. So I did that also after college.
Wow, that's cool. So you get your degree in business administration, then you go back for computer programming.
Yes.
Then where do you go?
Then I worked for a manufacturing company. That's when my dad was very determined to get me in there.
The one where
And
your dad wouldn't take no for an answer?
yeah, he wouldn't. I mean, he is just persistent, but he has a way of approaching it. He's very charming.
Mhm.
He has great personality, and he does a lot of good things for people. So, I think if he gets something from people, he gives back 10
Yeah.
times to make it better for them. So he's not just taking, he's
Yeah.
also giving back like crazy. So they love, to collaborate with my dad. And I mean, I hear so many people that just are just too loyal to
Yeah.
my dad. If I'm the person, if you were in my position, and if you get stopped by a police, and I only have to say I'm the daughter of Rolando Gonzalez, they'll let me go. That's how powerful he is in our community.
Wow.
It was crazy, but it was so good to remember those things about
Yeah.
my dad.
Oh, that's cool.
But anyway, so going back to working for a company, so it was a manufacturing firm with 2,000 employees,
Mhm.
and I was in charge of their payroll system.
Mhm.
And so again, that's a big, responsibility, but I had
I
great
know.
people around me who mentored me and who showed me the way, and I was able to do it. And because of my computer programming, it was really, natural, very smooth for me to go in there and take care of it.
So how long were you with the manufacturing company?
3 years, I
Okay.
believe, because I ended up coming here to United States.
Okay. What made you come here?
I got married. I met a senior engineer from Intel Corporation who was
Okay.
introduced to me by a friend, and he actually courted me for a couple of years. And the funny thing about this whole thing, Mike, is in the Philippines, everyone there is afraid of my dad. So there's only one guy who came to my house to court me, but that was it. He was
Right.
having sweats, bullet sweats, because my dad was there. They were afraid of him. So, and this guy is from United States, so he has no clue who my dad is.
There you
And he
go.
came to my house with no fear, and courted me for 2 years. He wrote me a letter every day. He called me every day, and he's very smart. And he knew I was learning computer programming, and we just connected, intellectually, and he was just, smart.
Yeah.
And I love being, talking to someone with that kind of intelligence.
Mhm.
And he talked to me about how he creates his microchips. He does in charge of the quality control and all of that. And I was just so admiring him for his intelligence and how he carries himself. He's very professional. He has good manners, So I was just, I fell in love with that. So there
Right.
you go. I ended up here in United States. I actually, our first stop was Sacramento for a month, and he got promoted. So he had to relocate to New Mexico and Albuquerque, New Mexico. That's where I actually really learned everything. The people there were beautiful. They are, loving. They're not hungry for, career. They just, very accommodating.
Yeah.
So it's almost like feeling like in the Philippines.
Yeah. Yeah. I love Albuquerque. In fact, all of New Mexico, all the people that I've met there, are incredible.
Yeah,
So
very
that's
laid
awesome.
back.
So
It's
how
a
long
very
were you in
laid,
Albuquerque?
5 years.
Okay.
So with that, there's a lot of things that happened with me and my husband at the time, and I would keep that for myself for
Oh,
now.
yeah.
But I ended up leaving and separating with him, and
Oh, I'm sorry.
no, it's okay. I mean, that's part of life. I make
Yeah,
decisions myself, and
sure.
the decisions I make are all mine,
Hmm.
and it's something that I just go through life,
Yeah.
and there's no regret on anything that I have done in my life. It's something that I learned from it,
Hmm.
and I just move on and take all of that learnings.
Yeah.
So, and I ended up leaving Albuquerque, New Mexico, went to California. I have a best friend who was getting married in California, so I ended up staying at her place.
Oh.
And this is so funny because when I went, they bought a house in in Glendale, or Glenwood. It's like Burbank area.
Hmm.
Anyway, so it's an old home. So I stayed in her garage
Hmm.
where there's a loft.
Hmm.
And so I'm very new, and I'm like a little have a shock because LA is just too crowded compared to Albuquerque, New Mexico. So I'm
It's a
like,
big
okay,
difference.
I'm adjusting, and my car
Yeah.
has tinted windows,
Hmm.
and that's not allowed there. And so I'm like still trying to. I got lost in LA,
Wow.
trying to
Yeah,
find
it's
my
easy to get
way.
lost in LA. I've been
Yeah,
lost several times.
yes, and but anyway, and then there was the earthquake.
Oh, no.
So the earthquake, so the garage was like shaking like
Oh,
crazy.
yeah.
And I like, oh my God, is this a bad dream or what? But but the time was really weird,
Yeah.
but it was like interesting. So this is California.
Wow. Welcome to
It was
California.
so interesting. But my friend, she's been my friend since I was working in the Philippines. She's
Yeah.
actually a fashion designer from the
Oh,
Philippines, and she ended up coming here to United States and got married an amazing man. And so I was very happy for her. But yeah, so that's what I ended up in LA. And then
that's
after
cool.
that, there's more to come. But
Yeah.
I'll let you ask your questions.
No, keep going. So how long were you in LA?
Only for 6 months.
Okay.
I actually worked part-time for
Okay.
a telecommunication company, and it's only part because I didn't really know what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Okay. And I have a lot of Filipino friends, and we were playing bowling. I was having the time of my life,
Yeah.
just being, trying to figure out what I wanted to do next.
Hmm.
So I worked for this telecommunication company, and um, I realized that I was really good at it because I wasn't selling, I was educating people.
Yeah.
And people were coming to me and asking me about their service provider, which is MCI, AT&T, and
Hmm.
T, and all that. So what I did is I studied the different companies and I educated them on what's the pros and cons for each company so they can
Yeah.
make a better decision. And what happened is I ended up getting a lot of clients, and the
Hmm.
company itself was so happy with me
Yeah.
that because there were so many representatives and some of their signups were backing out. With
Yeah.
mine was 100% booked,
Yeah.
and they were coming with no backing out. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I met the former boss of my best friend. He was having a farewell party because he's moving to San Diego.
Hmm.
And it so happened that, he played tennis, and I was looking for people that I can play tennis. I love tennis.
Hmm.
So I'm good at it. I have lots of stories on playing tennis. I tell that to some of my business workshop, kind of giving them what I did.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of learnings in there. But anyway, so because he was playing tennis, so we ended up playing, and for some reason, in a short period of time, we got married.
Wow.
Well, it was, again, he was very smart. He was very down to earth, and he was just perfect
Yeah.
for what I'm looking for. And I think at that time, I'm still not really 100% sure of who I am
Yeah.
because of leaving the first marriage, which I thought it was, the marriage of my life, but then
Yeah.
ultimately it didn't happen. And there's a lot of reasons for that. But moving on, I'm still confused of what happened with my first marriage and moving on to the next one. So I think
Right.
that's what probably the decision. It was a quick decision, but that quick decision gave me two beautiful kids.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool.
And I am so blessed that they turned out to be really smart, good, talented, hardworking. You know, there's nothing else I can ask for, from God, because God has pretty much given me the best blessing. I
Yeah.
even have a grandson now.
Oh, wow.
5 years
Congratulations.
old.
That's awesome. How old's your
Yes.
grandson?
My grandson is 5 years old now. And he's
Oh,
actually coming this June to
oh,
visit me.
oh, how cute.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yes. So, but if you look at him, he looks like a totally white boy.
Oh,
You cannot trace a little bit of Filipino in there,
oh, geez.
but he is so loving. This My grandson is just very sensitive in terms of how he communicates with me and with his mom. He's just I think it's a combination of my daughter's personality and his dad was a great mix, because he is so down to earth, but he is smart and
Yeah,
very loving
yeah.
and a happy baby. So
Oh,
I think the combination of that was just beautiful.
yeah.
So
So did you move? Did you say you moved to San Diego?
so I ended up moving to San Diego because he was living in San Diego at that time.
How long ago was that?
Uh, it's after 6 months, because I got a job for a hospital. It's a Tri-City Medical Center.
Yeah, in Vista.
Yes, and so
Yeah.
I worked there for 11 years,
Oh, wow. That's cool.
and I was in charge of their entire decision support system, run their productivity, their cost accounting, their contract management, contract modeling, lots of things that I did in there. And I became very good at it. I made some great things for the hospital that saved them lots of money. And I became also one of the advisory board member for a big software company that I ended up traveling everywhere and and I even spoke, sharing them what I did and what I created for the system, because
Yeah.
they didn't know how to create it. So I have to share that knowledge.
That's awesome. Good job.
Yeah, thank
That's so
you.
cool. So you worked there for 11 years. And then what did you do?
Then I started getting into real estate, because I
Really?
had some properties in Albuquerque, New Mexico, which I forgot to mention that.
Yeah.
My husband at the time were into real estate. So
Yeah.
we actually bought some properties through VA programs where we were
Okay.
getting the properties for $800 down payment only.
Mhm.
So we acquired so many properties. For myself, I have 3 houses and 12 units apartments. So I had to I had to figure out what to do with that. And because of that, I ended up working with this real estate guy who did a dual agency with me. I
Mhm.
felt like he didn't do a good job for me.
Mhm.
So, but because of that, it's not because, I felt uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And when we finished the transaction, I was evaluating what happened. And I realized I don't want this to happen again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to learn it. And I went back to school
Mhm.
and took classes on real estate, and I ended up getting a license as
Mhm.
a real estate agent. And the reason for getting the license also is I felt like if other people, like me experience that, I
Mhm.
don't want other people to have the same experience. So I wanted to be a real estate agent to help those people get educated and have better, outcome for their business.
Right.
So, but what I ended up doing is that we went big right away. I didn't have any experience as a real estate agent yet. And
Yeah.
and so my my second husband, he was a great regional manager for an inventory company. So
Mhm.
he has great skills for managing people. So I thought, well, you should be a real estate broker. So
Really?
I convinced him to be a real estate broker.
Yeah.
And so he started going out there, but he couldn't find a place where he could really work. with them.
No.
And I think he's has his own way of.
We hope you enjoyed another episode of the Mike Litton Experience. If you did, do us a favor, smash that subscribe button, tell your friends, family, and coworkers about our program, and wherever you get your podcasts, please leave us a rating. It helps us to connect with quality people just like you.
And that's a wrap. Another episode of the Mike Litton Experience in the books. Reach out to Mike on Instagram at Litton Realty. Want to meet with Mike? Check out calendly.com/Rio760.